for me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And niggas trying to take my life away. I put a hole in a nigga for fucking with me.
What's up, YouTube? Just doing a quick update on the RB S14. Kind of show you what I've done to it the last few days and what I have left. So this isn't all the stuff that needs to be done, but I just kind of jotted down a lot of the big stuff. I got the power steering bushings in the rack. I got an OEM reservoir and installed it. I got the power steering cooler mounted to the front. I got the booster delete and lines. They showed up over the weekend, so I got those put in. The head is being rebuilt right now, so I crossed that off. Should be able to pick it up either tonight or tomorrow, and then I'll have the head installed to do still. The adjustable rear arms are on. Still waiting for the angle kit. Still waiting to install the power steering lines. Got the hydro. I don't have all the interior buttoned up. I just mounted a driver's seat, and then I got the hydro situated. The trunk latch, I might be able to figure out how to get the OEM latch to work again. And the hood, also might try to figure that out. Still got a nut and bolt check the whole rest of the car and fluid check it. But I'll show you guys the interior. So I kind of cleaned it up and got all the parts out. ECU obviously needs to be mounted. Another nice thing that this car did come with is a plug and play link ECU. So this already has a link on it with a tune from Jason. And I was able to get the Chase Bays hydro to work. Obviously I need to bleed it. But I went ahead and cut the factory mount off of the transmission tunnel for the factory e-brake, and then just welded a plate onto the tunnel. And then I welded some nuts to the plate so that the Chase Bays hydro could just bolt down to the plate. So that's all situated. It's very sturdy and mounted really nice. Kind of had to cut this out, so if I put anything here it's going to fall in the hole, but whatever. I had to do that on mine too. I am still missing, I've gone through the box of spare parts, and I am missing this vent and the ashtray and the rest of the boot for the shifter. But overall I think it looks pretty clean and nice to have all this stuff cleaned up and installed. I was planning on putting bucket seats in here. The car came with S14 stock front seats, but somebody I know hit me up looking for some OEM front seats, so I went ahead and sold the front seats out of it. And then I had this S13 seat up in the loft. So I just went ahead and threw that in. So I haven't decided what seats I'm gonna put in here, but at least I'll have a seat to use for now. Also, my PBM front brake setup did show up. I'm still waiting on the angle kit from the Villains shop, but I went ahead and hooked up the brakes and put them on the rotor, so that way I can bleed the system. So if I get bored in the next day or two, I can get the brakes all bled, front and rear, and the hydro dual caliper setup. I could bleed that too. So that way when the angle kit shows up, I can just bolt it all on. It didn't come with a booster, so I went ahead and put this Willwood cylinder in with the Chase Bays delete kit with the bias valve. And then I went ahead and bought the line kit as well. So I got all the lines ran last night. It'll be one line to the front here, and then these two lines, one goes to the front wheel over here and one goes to the rear line. So that's all in and mounted. Just got to bleed them. And then you can see the factory power steering reservoirs mounted and the cooler. I'm gonna kill some time by taking the oil filter warmer out and deleting this and putting the filter straight to the block, which means I can get rid of this hard line and all these lines. So then you just have one hose going from here to the firewall and from there to the firewall. It'll be much cleaner under the intake manifold. And then I'm pretty sure the oil pressure sending unit, pretty sure I can just take that bolt out of the block, and I might have to buy an adapter, but I should be able to put that into there. Should be able to put that into there. So there'll just be two hoses, Actually, that hose is all the way in the back, so there'll just be the one hose coming from here to the firewall, the oil filter, and the sending unit, and all this other garbage will go away. So I'm gonna do that right now. So here's what it looks like all kind of stripped down. You can see I took this hose out and this hose out. They basically just went to the firewall, but then this guy and this guy went to the oil warmer. Some people call this an oil cooler, but it's actually a warmer for like emissions, so your oil doesn't take so long to warm up. The water goes through here and warms it up. So took that out. Now I just got to take this sensor off and see what size adapter I need to bolt the sensor into the block right here. And then you take this nipple out from in there, and this is an adapter. So just screw this into the block, and then the filter just screws on there. And it'll be nice and simple and clean underneath the manifold. So I went to the hardware store and got a 8th NPT male to male to go into the block. The problem is this sending unit will hit the block, so it won't screw in by itself. So I just got a male to male and a female to female, put those two adapters on, and then the sending unit screwed right onto that. And then the harness will plug in there, and that's good. Put the adapter nipple onto the block, got a new oil filter, so now that's good. You can see this is where one of the nipples came off this hose for the turbo line, so I'm actually gonna weld that closed real quick. And then I gotta run a hose from here to the firewall and from there to the firewall. And I already had one hose laying around that I think might work, so I went ahead and got another one just like it, and this nice long one. So between these three, I should be able to make those hoses. And then if I need to cut one and twist the angle, it's pretty simple. I can just take a chunk of this pipe and just cut a small section out of it, and then I can take the rubber hose and change the angle of those bends, and then just use this as a union with a clamp on both sides. So I got plenty of metal here to cut chunks out of if I need to. So I'm gonna put these in and see how they work. It's a couple days later now. I was waiting for the head to get done at the machine shop. As you can see, the head is in. You can see my water lines are all done. I got the ARP bolts on, the new OEM head gasket on. It's all torqued, the head's all torqued down. I got the 3 10mm bolts. There's one on this front corner, and then there's one on each corner of the back. Got the buckets in. Next is the cams. I got the block at top dead center. So now I just got to put the cams in at top dead center and tighten all that down. And then I can start assembling the timing belt components. And then I can put the intake and exhaust manifolds on. It's the next day again. While putting the head and stuff together, I actually broke one of the head studs. You can see I put the gasket on and the exhaust manifold and was tightening the bolts down, and that guy there broke off. Kind of stopped my work last night, and I went to the store and got a stud removal kit. So now I gotta drill it out and use one of these bits to back the broken stud out. Also got some paint for the valve covers and the timing cover to get rid of that ugly peach pink. I don't even know what it is, but it's hideous. And some more parts showed up. Got front tension rods and the angle kit from the villain's shop. I got the exhaust manifold on, the turbo's mounted, the oil lines are hooked up. Got the intake manifold on, the harness and the injectors are in. I got most of the harness ran underneath it nicely. Making some progress. I think before I go any further, I'm gonna get some paint on the valve covers, just so while that paint's drying, I can get some more work done on the car. I got the RB pretty much assembled. A lot of the couplers for the intercooler are just kind of pushed on, not really tight. I think I got the timing right. I think I got the CAS in the right spot. There's a little half moon that's supposed to be on the cam to match up with the CAS, and it's not on the cam. So I'm just kind of trial and error here. I've tried it in a few spots, but I think I might have it right now. Let's see if she starts. I don't have an exhaust on it, just the downpipe. Air components hooked up, fuel components hooked up, and spark components hooked up. So in theory, if the timing and CAS is in the right spot, it should fire. Run good. Yeah. Before I run it too much, I'm gonna fill up the water so the water pump's lubricated. And yeah, I'm excited. I can't believe it started. So I don't have the power steering hooked up yet. I've got the reservoir, I've got the line on the rack. The pump's obviously in, but two things are missing. I had to take the cooler off the front end so that I could mock up the intercooler the way it was when I got the car, just to try to start it. And I'm also waiting for the Chase Bay's A line kit for the rack because those hard lines were missing. So not a big deal. I'm gonna get it all buttoned up and running good the way it is. And then I'm gonna move on to getting the angle kit put on. Man, I'm stoked. Sweet. Chase Bay's booster delete kit looks all nice with the wires tucked back. So yeah, I'm gonna get the water filled up and let her run for a little bit. Sounds good. Got some smoke from some oil that got all over the manifold and the turbo, burning off. She's warming up and drinking a little water. So yeah. Super stoked. I got the Villains angle kit on and the new PBM front brakes. I got the front wheels on, back wheels on. So yeah, looking like a car. So next on the list is gonna be bleed all the brakes, bleed the clutch because the pedal is just to the floor. So I don't know if the slave cylinder is bad or not. The master cylinder looks fine, so maybe the slave is bad on the transmission. Haven't really messed with it yet. So I gotta bleed the clutch system to get that working, bleed the brake systems to get those working. And then I can get this guy on the ground. Oh, and build a full exhaust. I've got the downpipe on now, and it came with these blast pipes and this midsection. But you can see it's been rubbed through pretty bad. I'm just gonna order some mufflers and get some 3-inch pipe and just put a new exhaust system on it for two reasons. That one's pretty damaged and that one's gonna be loud. So I do wanna make it quiet. So yeah, getting close. I think I'm gonna end this video here, guys. Appreciate you following the work I'm doing to bring this car back to life and save it from the junkyard or from a part out. It runs good now. I'm pretty excited about finishing it. it's close. It's really close. I can almost drive it. I do want to have Oscar come over. The only thing I noticed that was wrong with it when it was running, because I ran it for a while, was that I got it up to operating temperature and the fans never kicked on. I didn't overheat it and I didn't sit there and rev on it, so maybe the fans will kick on still, but I still would like Oscar to stop by, just go over all the wiring, because everything in the passenger compartment is just kind of laying on the floor. So I would like him to go through it all and make sure I have good connections and good grounds, and the Link ECU has the right settings on it, because it hasn't been touched in a few years, before I button it all up, because right now it's kind of easy to get to. So that's next. Button up the wiring and tuck it all back in, build an exhaust, and bleed the systems and drive it. Super excited. So anyways, yeah, thanks for following along. Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it, whatever. But I'll see you guys next time.